Next, I'm going to jump onto the other one, which is, should your staff or your team care as much about your business as you do? So if you're a business owner, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people think that you pay the salary, you make the commitment, you take the risk, the business owner takes the risk to commit to pay a salary in a way that whatever they invest in, be it the person, their time, the training to launch a new part of the business, to run the function, whatever it is that that person gives everything within their time slot and whatever to do whatever needs to be done to make it work. The truth is, though, is that, and I know this firsthand, when something is your baby, so for me it's the roadmap, nothing will ever be perfect and you could always improve. And part of the reason why a lot of entrepreneurs go into business is because they strive for perfection all the time and they've got a dream or a mission that they're really kind of working towards. That, I'll be honest, is kind of all consuming. Rightly or wrongly, I kind of think about a lot of this stuff, not 24 hours a day because obviously I sleep, but whenever I'm out on weekends or whatever, it is my passion. But the truth is, if you're a paid employee, and I can say this because obviously I've had paid jobs in the past, you want to go in, you want to do a good job, you want to progress and get your reward for whatever it is that you're doing, because you should. But your, objectives, and rightly so, are generally about your own passions, your own progression, trying to build the life that you want. And the two aren't exactly aligned. Where for me that companies should really kind of, work to tackle this, and it's something that I kind of cover in my next kind of point, it's to create the environment to help people flourish. But the big thing for me is that, especially when you have high performing employees that really have potential to go on and do really kind of good stuff, it's probably the reason why you employ them. For me, yes, you can motivate them with money, and we've hopefully got a national or inflationary rise coming soon, and the UK national minimum wage is going up soon. But the point is, you can only pay people so much, because actually, if the business runs out of money, everyone loses their jobs. So there is always a balance where staff often just want pay at a certain level, but after that, it gets difficult for the employer to really kind of take it and move forward. So one of the things that I think is really important, especially for anyone that's on LinkedIn, which is a slightly higher level of employee, maybe at the management kind of level and upwards, you don't get many shop floor workers on LinkedIn. But actually, it's how, for me, you want career plans, career progression, because actually what you can often do is, if you're trying to build a really good team, you need to give people a reason to actually stay with the business and actually feel engaged and they want to be there and they want to work. But actually, and I mentioned this on last week's live stream, in most of your careers, you can either learn, so it might be your first job and you're trying to learn a craft or whichever, or you want to earn, where you kind of know what you're doing and you just want to get paid, happy days. The best jobs provide both, where you get the opportunity to learn and develop whilst you're getting paid. And by getting paid, obviously everyone gets paid, but I mean get paid well. And the worst ones, again, and I've kind of been there, is when you're in a job where you're not getting paid particularly well, you don't feel valued by the employer, but actually you don't feel like you're learning anything or developing. And especially for people who are ambitious and want to kind of do well in their careers, they'll probably end up quitting and moving on somewhere else. And I just think it's a really interesting thing that basically, when you look at this dynamic, employers and small businesses just create career plans for your team. Sit down with Matt or Simon or whoever and actually just ask, look, what is it that you want to achieve in the next kind of 2, 3, 5 years? What is it that you want to do? And then look at how can we actually help do this for you, so that they feel like they're developing, they're more likely to stay with the business, but actually you're going to have a happier, more engaged employee, and it doesn't have to cost you money. And the big thing for me, it's part of the reason why I kind of created the roadmap, is that you have a lot of people who are going through their career. Excuse me, voice gets sore. A lot of people who are going through their career, and you get to a certain point where the next step up is like director level, and that's actually quite a big jump. And it's also a very difficult one to do, that if you're in a job, to then just move to get that progression, it almost takes someone to take a punt on you. So it's very difficult to kind of do. So we try and teach that stuff in the course. But actually, as the employer, if you know you have some shining stars coming through the business, invite them into, I'm so sorry about my voice. When you talk for 20 minutes straight, you can get a sore voice. Invite them into your board meetings or director meetings or whatever, to help them start to learn these skills and the engagement and that kind of thing that they would need at the next level. It might be an hour a month or whatever, but actually just start to engage them in some of your finance meetings so they get to learn more about how does the company spend money? Does the company make money? Where does the company make money, etc. Because what you're doing is engaging with the team in a way to actually help them grow and develop and actually want to stay with the company, that you can reward them in different ways that don't have to be financial, which is especially important in smaller companies where you can't always afford to pay rises. But it was just on that dynamic of actually, why don't staff care as much as the owner? Because it's not their baby. And then likewise, being honest, the owner also gets the reward if it goes well. But true, they also take the risk if it doesn't. So I think it's just that kind of dynamic. But realistically, if you have a good and honest relationship with your team where you talk about different stuff and people feel engaged in the mission and what you're trying to do, I think there's a nice balance to be had there. But then likewise, reward people when they do a really good job for you.